We're going to go over running animation. I did a real quick pass of it just a second ago, so I'll just show you kind of the results of this. It's more of a jog, really not getting airborne, but anyways, you guys can work on that. I think if I went to do another pass, I'd probably work on getting a little bit more airtime, but this is basically how I run when doing a marathon, so very slow and not a lot of airtime. All right, so one of the things you can see, we're going to go through this on a step by step, but I just wanted to show you kind of in the results before we get started. So I start high, so you can see the body is going high, low at 15, and then high at 30, and then low at 45, and then high. So high, low is the first thing that we'll start on the animation. And you can see my right leg is forward, and by midpoint 30, it's all the way to the back. So we'll set that at 0, 30, 60. This is just to get you started. So there's a million ways to do running on walk cycles, but this is just to get it started so you can start learning mechanics, and we'll get more and more into the graph editor and cleaning this up. All right, so you can see the left leg is opposite, 0, 30, 60. So, and you can see as we're coming through, we pop that leg up and churn it. So there's a little bit of animation with that, a little bit of a pop and pull through, and we just want to make sure that is way high of the ground versus our walk cycles, which were pretty low. All right. One of the things I did have it on 24 frames per second, and then the play rate I have at 60, and then I went up to 90 for this to do a loop. So what you'll do is when you start playing the loop for the first time, it'll look like it's hanging on that 60 for like a millisecond, and it'll get faster and faster as you go through it. All right, so let's stop looking at this animation that I did. I may cut this section of the video out, but I'm just going to go ahead and save it. Call it run, so just so we have a thing of it. Save as, and I'm going to open up recent, and then the clean one. All right, so I have the error because I'm on 2022. Again, if you guys are going to share this, save it as a MA file. All right, so we've got our little charater that we've downloaded, and what we're going to do is go ahead and get this charater to kind of hunch over. All right, so I may have it way too hunched over. I don't think anyone really runs like that, but this is a animation. And so we're just going to go ahead, key it in. Now you don't have to key it because we're not flexing it. We should probably down the road, maybe back and forth, back and forth. All right, so I'm going to do this in perspective for a little bit, and then we'll hang out in a side view in just a second. All right, let's go ahead and save those out. This is actually Apple Z. Again, this is for the folks that want to go step by step. I encourage you, if you want to do it yourself. So I think that's good. All right, I forgot how I did it last time. All right, so I've already screwed up. We need to do 60 frames. You're probably cursing at me now. All right, so 60 frames. Do 60 frames, and looks like we have some sort of animation going on already. Let's see. All right, so we have high. So this is kind of our high. All right, so we're going to go right at 15. Make sure it says 15, so you have a nice even thing. And I'm just going to bring it down just a little bit. Kind of remember this. You could look at your trans X, Y, Z if you wanted and copy, write that down on a piece of paper, but I know no one in the classroom has analog devices anymore. So go ahead and hit play. Okay, really quickly, I have this at 90 frames per second, so that's the playback speed. Time slider, I do have it at 24 frames. So I'd go ahead and get used to what that looks like in real time. 90 frames is really a high rate, but this is just to get you from 0 to 360. All right, so let's keep going, and we're just going to kind of just, again, your first one's going to be pretty bad, and you'll get better and better, just like you guys did with the walking. All right, so just when the foot is actually in the air for a second, and if you really quickly, you guys want to maybe look at drawings of running cycles, right here when the foot strikes, that's the high point, and when it's airborne, it's kind of a midpoint. I'm kind of doing the opposite. I'm actually making a high point when they're in the air instead of a strike or a back strike. So that could definitely be wrong, but this is very helpful to kind of figure out your walk cycle and also your head movements and so forth. So what I did was, this was 0, 15, and then 30, and then so forth. So this is kind of not a full loop in here, but it's showing you about 2/3 of it. So again, always have those up as a reference, especially when you guys are first starting on your animation cycles. All right, so we have it where this runner is mid-air, so we want to go ahead and make it a loop. So we go 0 and 60, and then at 30, we want to do a heel strike in the back. So we're just going to go ahead, pull this back. All right, now just don't make that disappear. I still haven't figured out what that toe part is for. I wouldn't worry about it. We're not getting that advanced yet. But I want you guys to just go ahead and pull this all the way back. And it's hard to see how far it is off the surface, so it is pretty far. So I'll pull it back just a little bit. All right, so if I hit play, we're just doing a shuffle. It looks very silly. All right, so now we're going to do some in-betweening. I'm actually going to go to side view with this. All right, hit this, and then I'm going to flip this around. If you guys don't know, hold down your space bar, click on here, and I'm going to do left view, and then it'll flip it around. I think you guys can hit that, hit the box and make it go around. I always screw it up, so I'm not always perfect with that. All right, so right at 15, we're going to get this down to a flat heel strike. All right, so right now it's pretty wonky, and we can use our line here. We did talk about putting a plane. I think that's really smart down the road. Put a plane, make sure your foot's not going through that plane for now. All right, we hit S, so we're going to go ahead and look at that. That's a pretty good heel strike, and then a follow through. And then this acts really weird. This is way too high. All right, so I hit my W, and we get my heel strike right there on the tip. All right, so we're just going to go follow through. So we got midpoint and right there. All right, so that looks pretty good. All right, nice glide. All right, and then we're going to come back forward. All right, so we want to bring this way up. So we're going to go about 45. Go ahead and pull this up and hit E and rotate this around. All right, almost to kind of a point. Pull that up and forward. All right, let's see how bad this looks. All right, so we can see it's going through the floor. That's looking pretty good at our midpoint. And we need to just keep pulling this up. All right, a nice high glide, because our bottom foot is striking, and then boom, that should be a pretty good heel strike. We are in the air for about an inch there, that's fine. All right, so let's keep going through here. We've got some issues. We've got our heel strike, and then we got this dip going on. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up, do a little bit of rotation. All right, so let's go ahead. All right, it's not bad. All right, so you do need to watch a lot of maybe Nike or studies of running, and I get a better cadence. So this is based on me, on how bad I am. All right, so this is still way going through the ground. So I'm just going to keep pulling this up. Pull a little bit forward. Oops. Right. It's going to be a pop and a pop. All right, that looks pretty good. Nice, clean pop and pow. All right, so that is one leg done, and now we're going to work on the other. All right. Again, I don't know what this front flap is. It's more of a hyperextension, like if you were on a guardrail or doing, you're flexing backward a little bit too far. That's where you want to pull it back. So, but for our animation, I think we just keep it just this bottom bracket. All right, so we have the heel strike. This one's doing a heel strike in the back. So we want to hit W, pull this back, and I'm going to just do a little bit of a glide in the air. Again, this is going into the air, and we're going to go into here. Sugar snaps. All right. Keep that and to our loop. I'm sorry. Hit S, and you guys are going to make the same mistakes I just did. All right. So 30, we're opposite. We're doing a heel strike. Hit E. W. Sugar snaps. I'm going to pull this down. This one's really up in the air. Let's see. Right, this guy is pretty far in the air, so we just kind of mimic that same height and same area. So this is where the grid is really helpful. You can also use your grease pencil. You guys should have pulled that out. Maybe we'll do that when we do refinement. Grease pencils are really good at marking areas. We'll probably do that when we start walking on a real line versus a cycle. All right. So now we do a lot of cleanup on this foot. All right. So we're going to move forward here. We're going to go to 15. Pull this guy up, rotate. Okay, we've got to pull through. So there's a lot of movement getting this up and through without dragging our feet through the ground. All right. Do a little bit more rotation. Hit S. All right. So it's a quick pop. All right. This one is not dragging through the plane. All right. We'll pull this up a little bit higher. All right. S. And we're going to go all the way through, and we're in the air for a millisecond. And we see our toe over here is going through. I need to clean that up. And we have the heel strike. And horrible heel strike. So we're going to hit rotation this out, hit W, and pull that out, rotate. We should be fully flat at this point. Sugar snaps. W, pull this down, S. All right, so let's keep going through. It's pretty nice and flat now. And we want to make sure that is still in contact. I'm going to go ahead and pull this down to the ground. E. And I think this is the point where it could bend that toe. Nope. Don't play with that tip. I don't know what it is. I'm never had a rig with that, so keep it simple. All right, we have a nice glide, boom. All right, so let's go ahead and play it. All right, it's kind of a weird pop. Looks like more of a marathon walker versus a runner. He's not really getting a lot of air time. But if you ever watch me run, that's about as much air time as I ever get. So we're going to follow up with the arms. This is probably a lengthy one. If you know how to do the arms, just go ahead and do it. Fast forward, you don't even have to watch it. Just do it and just make sure you do a good job. All right, so this is just opposite of that leading leg. You're going to pull this forward, S, and do the loop, S, and then 30. You're going to pull that back. All right, make sure it's following that back leg, S. All right, and really quickly, we just do the same with the arm. We're going to pull this forward because it should bend so it doesn't look strange. S. All right, 30. We're going to actually go to the end of the loop. I do the same thing, make mistakes. S. All right. So if we again looked at a nice bend, I'd probably be a little bit more aggressive with that bend. It's pretty weak, but he's not really going that fast, or they aren't going that fast. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pull this back. We're gonna pull this backwards, make our loop, go to the end, hit S, go to 30. We're gonna pull this all the way front. All right, and then we're gonna do the same with the arms. S, keyframe S, and then 30, and pull this pretty aggressively. All right, so maybe it has one arm, it doesn't bend as much. All right, we've got that going on. Just going to do a real quick thing with the head. High point of the head, try to keep it up high. 0 to 60, keep it, and then on the down, I think the gravity would kind of push down on the head. Again, you're going to have to watch your own videos and see that. Again, look at this. The head's pretty straight. I think it's a little bit of an angle here. So anyways, let's see what our animation looks like. It could look bad. All right. Again, this looks like a really fast walk cycle, but we are leaning forward. It is getting a little bit of air time. You could probably pull those knees up and so forth. We have no hip wiggle or anything like that. You may want to do that. Let's do that real quick. It could be a disaster. Let's see, Apple Z. All right, so it's gonna be funny. All right, S, 30, 60, since we're in the air, and let's do a strike at 15. All right, so that's that left side, so I'm gonna wiggle it thinking it's gonna get some impact. All right, this could make you look really sassy. I wish I could run like that. S. All right, let's see what that does. It could look absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, now it's really looking like a speed walker. So maybe don't do what I did. Definitely, I would animate the back. The back will have a lot of compression, but please go out. You can see a lot of Nike or Adidas training where they do motion capture of this. This is a pretty good start. So you guys are going to do this once, twice, and 3 times. Make sure you do a play blast, capture each one. Hopefully you make a better progression. Think of more of the athletic. Don't do really exaggerated running. I would like you to see be very specific on a fast running animation cycle. All right. Good luck, and again, make sure you capture those play blasts so you guys can turn them in at the end of probably next week.